Hi everybody, this is a review video for third graders where today we're doing a chapter 11, like blank questions. So here, choosing similar friends can have a rationale. So rationale refers to reason. We tend to choose similar friend. Okay, we don't choose opposite friend, we choose similar friend, and there is a reason why we choose similar friend. Assessing survivability of an environment can be risky. If an environment turns out to be deadly, for instance, it might be too late by the time you found out. So, assessing survivability of an environment. Let's say you go to a new environment and you try to evaluate whether that environment, whether it is possible for you to survive in that particular environment or not. That could be quite risky. So if in particular that environment turns out to be deadly, you arrived into a new environment and you eventually find out that environment is really deadly, then it is too late. By the time you found out the environment you live in is very deadly and very fatal and very dangerous area. So humans try to assess those survivability of a particular environment. So we have evolved a desire associate with similar individuals. So we make a friend with a similar individuals, way to perform its function efficiently. So we want to assess the survivability of a particular area. So perform this function refers to assessing the survivability. So in order to perform that function more efficiently, we make friends with similar people. This is especially useful to species that live in so many different sorts of environments. So again, this is the assessing, and this is quite useful to a species. For instance, for human species, we live in so many different sort of area. We live in all over. We live in Iceland, we live in desert, we live nearby Ecuador, live nearby Amazon River, live in Africa. We live in so many different environments, so it's very useful for a species like human. However, the carrying capacity of a given environment blank. So here, for a given environment, let's say that there is a certain environment try to live, and that given environment can only have a certain carrying capacity. What it means is that a certain environment, let's say a certain environment can only support 1 million population. A certain environment can only have resources that can carry 1 million population at the same time. If this environment have like 2 million population, this environment cannot give enough resources. So that's a carrying capacity. A certain environment, they have all carrying capacity. Okay, so they can have only limited number of people living in this site. So I guess let's say that the dormitory of Gafu dormitory, the carrying capacity of Gafu dormitory is 1,000 students. If we have more than 1,000 students, if we have a 1,500 students in the Gafu dormitory cannot carry 1,500 students in here. So the carrying capacity of Gafu dormitory is 1,000 students. So same nature and a certain given environment also have a carrying capacity. So carrying capacity is blank. This is a topic sentence. Okay. So we try to make a similar friend as a function, as a strategy, and an environment have only limited number blank. So we have to guess this blank from the support. The support has to explain about the topic sentence more in detail. Okay? So we can get some hint out of this here. So if resources are very limited, individuals who live in particular place cannot all do the exact same thing. So resources of a certain environment is limited. So all all individuals who live in a particular same area cannot possibly do this. For example, if there are few trees, there is an area. This area has trees. Okay? So main natural resource of this area is tree. So you have to use a lot of tree to make your living in your area. But that tree have a limit. There are only a few limit. Then people cannot all live in tree houses. Since the tree is limited, we cannot live, all of us cannot live in tree houses. Or if mangoes are in short supply, there is a certain area that has a main food of that area is mango. And then mangoes are in short supply. You only have the carrying capacity of mango. Only limited number of people can be supported by mango here because the number of mangoes are limited in this area. Then people cannot live solely on a diet of mango. So we cannot eat mango all the time because there are not enough of them. So rational strategy would therefore sometimes to avoid similar member of one's species. So it makes sense to make a similar friend in a strange area. However, since this nature has a limited number of resources, if you have a same species, same people, if same people act, eat, and behave same way, we don't have enough resources because nature only have a certain number of carrying capacity. So a rational strategy sometimes would be to avoid similar member of some species. So sometimes it makes sense to avoid similar species because the resources has a limit on to numbers. So sometimes this certain strategy places a limit on this strategy. Okay? So maybe the last sentence can be a hint for blank right here. Okay? And moving on. So here, many people are uncomfortable about sharing their values. So people, they feel uncomfortable about sharing their values. So they view the individual as a sole judge of what is right and what is wrong. So these many people here, they view themselves as a judge. So you have your own decision. You have your own judgment, what is right and what is wrong thing to do. No one else cannot say to anything to you. You are the one who can judge what is right and what is not right. So this thinking leads to a personal and situational view of ethics. What I do is my own business. So this kind of thinking meaning that the individual having a judgment of making what is right and what is wrong. So this thinking is referring to this first sentence. It leads to a personal and situational view of ethics. What I do is my own business. So it leads to more individualism. Okay? So we consider what I do is my own business. So don't say anything to me. Mind your own business. Don't tell me what to do. I know what to do. I am the one who can make a judgment on my action, on my business. So what I do is my own business. You cannot say anything about me. I'm not going to say anything about your action, your business, and you can tell me anything about my own business. Okay? So in this kind of culture means like individualism. It is difficult to confront people when their values differ from those of the organization. No? When the organization means like a government or other like institution. Okay, so when this government or the country is also the organization, right? When the government and country, they have different value. When they have different value with a certain people, and when the government or country, when they have to confront these people, it is quite difficult to do this because each individual have strong opinion about their decision. So it's difficult for government to tell what to do about these people. So here we have a intro. And rest of it is a topic sentence. Topic sentence, and I told you sometimes the type of topic sentence is using expert opinion. Here it's using an expert opinion. So in the book Habit of Hurt, Robert Bella and his associate explore the dangers of rampant individualism. So there is this expert named Robert Bella and his associates, his colleagues. They explore the danger of rampant individualism in our society. Rampant here is explained in here, right? So rampant, prevalent. So they studied individualism in our society. And they suggest that if individualism is America's greatest strength, so America has a strength because they put emphasis on individualism, but it may also be the greatest weakness. At the same time, it could be a weakness if taken too far. If individualism is taken too far, it could be working as our weaknesses. So when blank assert itself at the expense of broader community, so here maybe when we say the broader community, it refers to the same thing with the organization. Okay, when individual opinion assert, when countries confront these people, they assert itself at the expense of broader community. So this individual is arguing, claiming their own interest, even they are sacrificing the value of the broader community, then individualism, it becomes problem. It's going too far. Okay? So here, when people put too much emphasis on self-interest and they are not caring about the broader community, it becomes a problem. Okay? So we have an introduction and topic sentence. So moving on. Number 2, the division of the world into rich and poor parallel the division of the world into coffee drinkers overwhelmingly concentrated in the industrialized gold north and coffee workers even more concentrated in the predominantly agricultural and perpetually developing global south. So in our society, we have division. Our world is divided. into rich and poor. Our world is divided into a rich and poor, and that division parallel, that division go with another division. So there is another division. Division between coffee drinkers and coffee workers. So our world is divided into rich and poor, and that division go with the division between coffee drinker and coffee workers. Okay? So the coffee drinkers overwhelmingly concentrated in the industrialized global north. So this coffee drinker country is located in northern hemisphere of the earth. And coffee workers even more concentrated in predominantly agriculture and perpetually developing global south. So coffee workers country is located mainly in the south. Okay? So overwhelmingly and predominantly quite similar thing, similar meaning. Okay? So it means like mainly. Coffee drinkers mainly located in northern hemisphere, coffee worker countries mainly located in global southern hemisphere. As the most valuable agricultural product of the world poorest region, coffee played a central role in shaping this divide. So coffee is the one who shaped this division between rich and poor, division between coffee drinker and coffee workers. So here comes the intro. And no, I'm sorry. So we have intro here. Our world is divided into rich and poor and coffee drinker and coffee worker. And this one is topic sentence. So coffee plays an important role. Coffee plays a central role in shaping this division is the topic sentence. Okay? And rest of it is a supporting detail. So in the last 150 years, coffee became exceptionally valuable commodity. So commodity is product. So commodity refers to nature product, mainly nature product that's really necessary for our living. We have to have it. So some of the famous commodity is like oil, or we have corn, we have pork, we have beef, log. These are the example of commodities. Okay, we need copper for industry. We need lead for industry, right? We need bronze. These kind of product are the example of the commodity. We need all these things in order to make our living. Okay? So coffee also is the exceptionally valuable commodity. Exports are now worth over $2.5 million a year, and retail sales many times more. So there is virtual monopoly of the world's poorest nations. So remember that the coffee workers, usually the coffee makers, are the global south, southern hemisphere countries. They are the one who makes this coffee, but somehow, even though they are exporting so much coffee to the world, still they are one of the world's poorest nations. So coffee is not just one of the most important commodity in the history of global capitalism, as is commonly claimed. So many people argue that coffee is the important commodity in the global capitalism. And it is one of the most important commodity in the world history of global blank. Ironically, these coffee southern countries, they export so much coffee to the world, but still they are remaining as the poorest nations. So somehow it's really unequal. No, you are selling so much important coffee to the world. Your country is still your country is still poor, right? So coffee is also important commodity in the history of global inequality. Unequal world between like rich and poor. Coffee export a lot of product, a lot of these southern countries exporting a lot of coffee product, but still remain as one of the poor countries in the world. Okay? So here, our topic sentence, coffee is doing a really important role shaping this divide. And yes, because of this topic sentence, we can guess somehow coffee is more important commodity in the history of global inequality division. Okay? And next question here. So it's blank that often plays a crucial and defining role in environmental economics. So we don't know what it is, but this blank, it plays an important role and crucial role in environmental economics. So maybe rest of the passage can give us some hint here. So traditional economics can determine efficient way to allocate resources for producing goods and services. So traditional economics, they allocate resources for producing goods and services. So the allocation is, however, simplified and confined to a single period of time with underlying presumption that the production of an additional unit of the commodity today does not prevent producing one tomorrow. So when we allocate resources, when we divide our resources, and you use some resource now and you save other resources for using later, right? So this kind of allocation is made with the pre-assumption that the production of an additional unit of commodity today doesn't prevent producing one tomorrow. So we have this belief that even if we use resources and we produce more additional product, we produce more additional unit of commodity today, we still believe that that using of resource would not prevent us from using some more resources from tomorrow. So we have this underlying presumption that maybe some natural resources would last forever. We are able to use this natural resource forever. And in the case of many environmental goods, allocation of resources over a long period of time is critical. So for many environmental goods, such as like oil, gas, and trees and rivers or other precious metal such as like gold or silver. This allocation of resources over a long period is critical. When we use these environmental goods, we have to think about long term. We have to think about using in our generation and giving some to a future generation. A long period is critical. For example, burning fossil fuel and polluting the environment today, we may be creating problem for future generations for years or forever. So if we use this fossil fuel like oil and if we pollute our environment, it will be creating problem for future generations. Similarly, if we harvest all the prawns today, prawn here, the shrimps. If we harvest all the shrimp today, maybe the supply will be gone forever, so our future generation will not have nothing. So our consumption decision of some environmental goods may be irreversible. So our decision on using these environmental goods, oil, gas, tree, these are irreversible. Once we use it, once we waste and use it, we cannot go back. It's gone, disappeared, right? And may have a profound impact on the well-being of your future generation. And it will have a serious problem, serious impact on our future generations. So this allocation is really should be done during a long period of time. Okay, so so here it's something that related to a time, and we have intro. So here we have intro and topic sentence. So here introduction, talking something about environmental economics. Talk about environmental economics, and here in environmental economics we have this presumption. We have our belief here. We have our belief that our consumption is not going to prevent anything producing anything in the future, but in case of many environmental goods, allocation of resources over a long period is critical. It is important. So here we're talking about when we use environmental economics, time plays an important role. Time plays an important role in environmental economics. We can guess from here. Okay. And here we have intro and we have topic sentence. Then we have support. Okay, and so next question here. Reflecting on the extremely rare occasion in which we fundamentally reframe our understanding of the universe causes us to blank. So here, reflecting on extremely rare occasion. There is like ultimately questions about why things are as they are. This is the same meaning, same thing. So sometimes we ask same question, we ask fundamental question, why? Why things happen in that way? And reflecting on extremely rare occasions, and we ask questions about fundamental concept. And by asking these ultimate questions fundamentally, it reframes our understanding of the universe. And by doing this, it causes us to blank. Okay? So let's guess what is the correct answer here. So we have science. Science is the art of measuring and developing models to produce predictions. So here we have the field of science. And science is about the measuring. Science is about measurement. And also it's about developing models. Okay? Try to develop models so you can predict more about future. And discussions about scientific models often provoke deeper questions about why the universe is in the condition it is in. So if we try to develop model in science, we end up asking more questions, more deeper questions. Right? It causes deeper questions. And what actually is electric charge? For instance, some of the example is like, what is so-called electric charge? People say that electrics are charging. What is it? Or why is there a gravitational pull between objects? So it says that the science says that Earth and Moon, they pull each other. Why? Why there is a gravitational pull between these objects? Or why do we have the particles we have and not others? Or science tells that there is a particle in this air. Right? There are so much particles in this air that our eye can see. And among these particles, why humans? We have certain particle in our body. Certain particles are in our body, and why not other particle? These other particles are why not inside our body? So we are asking this kind of more deeper questions as we pursue to develop more of the models in the science field. And science presses hard on these questions. So press hard on means they try hard. Science try hard to answer this question. Try hard to answer. By closing in as far as it may. So by pursuing, by closing in, by studying and researching. As far as that it may. So as we make more science, we have more deeper questions. And science try hard to answer these deeper questions by studying hard and by researching on our universe as far as the science can get, right? But ultimately questioning about why things are as they are, as opposed to what they are, lead us into the realm of philosophy. But we are trying hard in this science way, and science trying to answer this question so hard, but ultimately questions about why things are. We are asking sometimes extremely rare occasion about this fundamental questions. It is the realm of the philosophy. We not only have science, but also we have philosophy. So the realm here is the area. So it is an area of philosophy try to answer those ultimate questions. Okay. So science can clear away much of the falsehood on the way. So what science can do, yes, science can remove some falsehood. Science can remove some fake, wrong information, and they can give us a truth. They can give us more right information about the way. But the ultimate questions of reality, so answering to the ultimate questions of reality call for it means demand. Answering to the ultimate questions of reality demand more of the act of belief than scientific explanation. Science, they have so much scientific explanation and it can remove some of the falsehood, but ultimate questions, they demand more of an act of belief rather than the scientific explanation. So it's a matter of opinion, how far scientific model alone provide a full and satisfactory explanation. So we have science field and we have philosophy field. So it's a matter of opinion. So different people have different opinion. Okay, how far scientific model alone. Some people more scientifically uh, favoring people, they might argue that science alone can answer all these questions, including deeper questions and the ultimate questions. And there are some other people. This person has a matter of opinion. This person has a different opinion. This person is more toward the philosophy area. So this person might have an idea that science alone cannot really answer both this question, deeper and ultimate question. Maybe science can do a good job of explaining and answering this deeper question, but for answering this ultimate question, maybe philosophy can do a better job of answering to this ultimate question about our reality. So different people might have different opinion about how far the scientist model alone can provide a full satisfactory explanation about our questions, about our ultimate question. So here it refers to reflecting extremely rare occasion is talking about this ultimate question here. Okay. So, let's see. This is the intro. And so topic sentence. And last part. So this is topic sentence. And last one is support. So by connecting this part, by connecting this part to ultimately ask this part, we can guess part right here. Okay. So with that being said, let me erase this a little bit. Okay. I'm going to erase this. I want to show you. I want to clarify that this part. This is a reflecting cause us to blank. Okay, and ultimately questions about why things are as they are as opposed to what they are also lead us into the realm. So what I want to say is that these two sentences, they have similar structure. Okay? It calls us to blank, and questions lead us into the realm of philosophy of religion. So here it gives us a hint. Okay? So this part, the realm of philosophy and religion, this part comes to here. Okay? So it is think carefully the limit of the role of science, because another hint here is in this last sentence. It is a matter of opinion. How far scientific model alone? I told you that some people believe that scientific model alone can answer both those deep questions and ultimate questions. Some people believe that the scientific model alone can answer deeper question and ultimate question. The other people might have different idea that scientific model alone cannot answer both of these questions, can answer only scientific questions. And we need a philosophy, different area of science. The realm of philosophy is doing a good job of answering these fundamental questions. So here the right answer is thinking about the ultimate questions also is limit of the role of science. Okay. And number 5 here. In explaining others' actions, we frequently commit the fundamental attribution error. So here we commit the fundamental attribution error. Fundamental attribution error is the topic. So when we try to explain other people's actions, we make this mistake, so-called attribution error. We attribute others' behavior so much to their inner disposition that we discount important situational forces. So when we try to explain other people's behavior, we put so much emphasis. So attribute A to B. So this is A, B. A to So we blame A for B. So in other words, we blame people's behavior for their inner disposition. So we believe that people make that kind of bad mistake because of people's disposition, character. We believe that certain people make this kind of behavior because of their own characteristics, and we discount important situational forces. And we don't care about the situation of other people when people are making some kind of actions. However, actually we have to care both the character and we also have to consider a situation when we try to explain other people's behavior. We have to take both, but we tend to ignore the situational force. We only consider characteristics of other people when we try to explain the behavior of others. So the error occurs partly because our attention focuses on the person. So our mistake occurs because we are only focusing on the person, not on the situation. We don't care about the situation. And person's race or sex is vivid and gets attention. The reason why is because the person's race and person's gender, it's really a clear point and it gets our attention. The situational forces working on that person usually less visible. So in case of race and gender, we can easily see. So we put the behavior, we try to explain using, oh, that person's character is this, that person's gender is this, and that's why they're acting, behaving like this. Okay, and try explaining using those characteristics. However, situational forces are less visible. We cannot really see the situation of the person. So that's why we don't really consider situation as an important point of people's behavior. Slavery was often overlooked as an explanation for slave behavior. When we try to explain a slave behavior, we ignored. Overlooked means ignored. We ignored the fact that person is a slave, and the behavior was instead attributed to a slave's own nature. So we only try to explain the behavior of slave in terms of the nature, in terms of the characteristics of that person only, not caring about that person as a slave in terms of a situation, in terms of a system. So until recently, the same was true of how we explain the perceived differences between women and men. So when we try to explain difference between women and men, we only focus on the character of that individual. We don't care about the situation of particular woman and man in society. So because gender role constraints were hard to see, so we cannot clearly see the limit of this gender role in the society, we attribute men and women's behavior solely to their innate disposures. So when we describe the behavior of men and women, we try to describe their action in terms of their own disposition, in terms of their own characteristics. So the more people assume that blank, so the more we only care about the characteristics, the stronger are the stereotypes and the greater acceptance of racial inequities. So here, their acceptance of rational inequity. Rational inequity, it exists. It exists as a situation. In our society, let's say that we don't care about the racial inequities, and we don't, when we try to explain other person's behavior, that we only consider about the character of this person, and we don't care about this person as belonging to certain race, which is a situational conditions, and the stronger, the greater our acceptance of racial inequities. The more we only care about the characters when we try to explain one person's behavior from this character perspective, we don't care about the racial inequality problem in our society. We don't care about the situational condition in the person's behavior. So the more we only care about the human trait or fixed dispositions, so we only care about the people's character and try to describe it from characters and disposition point of view in terms of a society situation perspectives, it will be more unequal, and we will accept more of those racial inequities as a situation condition. Okay, so the answer is number 2, and here we have actually, let me erase this. Okay? So it's a simple topic sentence. Then we have support. So this topic sentence here, we attribute others. The topic sentence gives a hint to the supporting detail. Okay? Answer is number 2. Okay? So let's stop our video here. Okay? Thank you for watching. Okay? See you next time. Bye. Bye bye. Thank you.